the Tuesday Night Touchdown Podcast with your hosts, Reese Downing and Jacob Workman.
It's a shit show right off the bat. Only way to kick this off, I guess. What's up, guys? It is the Tuesday Night Touchdown Podcast. We are into episode 5, rapidly preparing for week 1. You see some shenanigans going on with us. It's because we've had some technical difficulties tonight trying to record our college edition, which you guys should also check out. We cover all of our top 25 week 1 matchups, as well as what we're lovingly calling the Muncie 6-pack, which is 5 additional picks, or 6 additional picks, I guess I should say, with Ball State. This is the NFL edition, again, episode 5. We're going to share some news and notes with you guys, and then jump into some season awards, wrapping it up with our playoff predictions on which teams are going to make it on the AFC and NFC, and then wrap it up with the Super Bowl. And I don't know what you're pointing at, but I'll kick it off over to you, man. It's my boy, Jacob Workman. What's going on, brother?
I'm saying come to me so you can see if we can even hear my fucking ass.
Oh, I can hear you. I can hear you. We'll see how long it lasts, but I can hear you.
Excellent. So 10 seconds. My voice is here.
Keep making love to that microphone, buddy. All right, let's jump right into it. So a couple quick points of news and notes. First and foremost, this happened just before we jumped on air here. New England announced that they have cut both Bailey Zappi and Malik Cunningham, leaving Mac Jones as the only quarterback on the team roughly a week and a half before the season starts. What the fuck is going on, Mr. Workman?
Well, if it wasn't bad enough that Matt Patricia ran their offense last year, here we are with this mess. I am unfortunate to break this news to you guys. This is going to be the last Tuesday Night Touchdown podcast. I have signed to be the backup quarterback for the New England Patriots. I'll see you guys in the off season. Good luck.
Wow. Okay. Well, fuck. I guess I'm going to be looking for a new co-host because I did not get that phone call. You know, I was half expecting them to say that Tom Brady's coming back out of retirement. I don't know what the hell's going on there. They just gave Malik Cunningham money, right? So
he got a big signing bonus for a draft pick. They usually don't get that high of a signing bonus.
Right. So I don't get it. I don't understand it. Malik Cunningham's not even been on the field for them to be able to really tell what he's going to be able to do. And Mac Jones is the quarterback right now, which does not bode well for them, especially in the division that they're in. I don't know what the game plan is here. I know there's a couple free agents out there. I don't see him bringing Cam Newton back. Tom Brady's retired and on a beach somewhere. Like, I don't know what's happening. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out, but
what's happening is they're going to finish in 4th place. That's what's going to happen.
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe this is the play to go after Caleb Williams. You know, like if they just like, we're only going to have one quarterback. So when Mac Jones, you know, undoubtedly goes down at some point in the season, we'll have, you know, Ramondre Stevenson out there, you know, trying to run the, I don't even know. It's dumbfounding to me. All right, let's move into another piece of news here, which is Jonathan Taylor. This will probably be some interesting conversation for some of our friends, being that Workman and I are both originally from Indiana, and we've got some friends that are Colts fans. Jonathan Taylor did not meet his trade deadline and is now officially on the PUP list and will miss the first 4 games of the season. Not being traded right now, so as of right now, he is still rocking a Colts uniform. What are you thinking about this?
I mean, I think it's crazy. Steichen's coming in trying to create a brand new culture, and this is what you have. Your literal star player just acting like a jackass. I mean, it's known Irsay will pay players if they're worth it. He had one good year. His first year was great. He hasn't done shit since. Like, maybe come out and have some production before you try this shit. And a couple months ago, he came out and he was like, oh, I signed. I'm great. Everything's fine. And then this happened. I think he changed his agent, and this is maybe the result of that. But this is a no-win situation for the Colts. You can't keep him around, but you can't trade him for nothing. So I don't know the solution. I think what they're doing probably is the solution. I think he's on 4 weeks out. See what happens after that. I still think probably ends up getting traded just because there's no way they can keep him around.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of what are they going to get for him, right? I mean, I appreciate the fact that the Colts put their foot down and they're like, we're not going to get rid of you for nothing. So you can sit your ass here. You're under contract. If you don't want to play, we'll put you on the PUP list for the next 4 games and we'll deal with it after the fact. At that point in time, it's very likely, being that it's the NFL, that there's going to be a team that could potentially be in playoff contention that's going to lose a running back to an injury. So, maybe they wait until week 5 and then find a team that's a little bit more desperate. I think part of this came from this whole running back deal that's come out this year, where all these guys are coming out saying that they're not paid fairly and that they're, the running back position in general is not respected. You're 25 years old and you're aged and no longer going to be in the league. So I think this is stemming from a lot of that, but you have to be able to back it up with play on the field. Dalvin Cook was able to do that. Jonathan Taylor does not have Dalvin Cook's record. So, I was surprised at how steadfast he was in this. Frankly, that Colts offense could be a little fun to watch. If they've got Jonathan Taylor out there with Anthony Richardson, they could score some points. I can see that happening, but it's not going to happen if Jonathan Taylor's just going to sit his ass on the bench and cry wolf until they move him. So I'll be interested to see how this all shakes out, but respect to the Colts and what they've done here in putting their foot down and saying, we're not going to get rid of you for absolutely nothing. We're going to get value out of this if this is how it's going to play out. So we'll see what happens. All right, guys. We've covered a little bit of news and notes here, so let's jump into our next topic, which is going to be season awards. Workman and I have gone through and looked at the betting odds for league MVP, coach of the year, offensive and defensive player, and rookie of the year, and we have our selections. Taking a look first at league MVP, right now we've got Pat Mahomes sitting at plus 600. Josh Allen and Joe Burrow are sitting at plus 700. Justin Herbert sitting at plus 900. Jalen Hurts at plus 1,200, and Aaron Rodgers is sitting at plus 1,600. I've got Pat Mahomes here. It's the simple, easy choice, but he's just been playing lights out, and he does a lot with that Kansas City team without a bunch of big names on it. I see Pat Mahomes taking league MVP here. Workman, what do you have?
So I went similar. I went with the number 1 seed in my NFC. I went with Philly. I got quarterback Jalen Hurts at plus 1,200. Similar thoughts to Mahomes. I feel like it's kind of the easy pick in the NFC just because I think they're the best team and he'll be the highest performer. And plus 1,200, I mean, pretty good odds for Jalen Hurts. So I like that pick.
Cool. Yep. Completely understand. All right. Let's move into coach of the year. So this one's going to be a fun one. We've got Dan Campbell, the Detroit Lions, currently sitting at plus 1,000. Sean Payton and Arthur Smith are both sitting at plus 1,400. Matt Eberflus is sitting at plus 1,600, along with Robert Salah. And then wrapping up on our top 6 here, we've got Matt LaFleur sitting at plus 1,600. Excuse me. Before I cover mine, what do you got here, Workman? I think I know, but
yeah. So if the Lions are going to
come
win
on, brother.
All right. I say if the Lions are going to win the division, man, then they're going to be a home playoff game at Ford Field, man. And
that's right, man.
That means Dan Campbell, coach of the year, man. Plus 1,000, man. I love it. Bring it to the Motor City.
Yes, bring that shit to me, man. That's the exact same thing I've got here. I got Dan Campbell at plus 1,000 as coach of the year. That guy, we've Workman and I have talked about this a little bit. The Hard Knocks last year, Dan Campbell had me ready to run through a wall every episode. I'm really looking forward to how this Lions team is going to look this year, but I've got Dan Campbell as well. So let's move into Offensive Player of the Year. Currently sitting in the top spot for Offensive Player of the Year, we actually have Jamar Chase sitting at plus 1,100. Following up in second, we've got Justin Jefferson at plus 1,400. Also at plus 1,400 is Christian McCaffrey. And then rounding out the top 6 here, we've got Nick Chubb at plus 1,800, Tyreek Hill at plus 2,000, and Lamar Jackson at plus 2,200. Taking a look at these picks here, I went with a long shot, frankly, for Offensive Player of the Year. I went with Lamar Jackson. He's going to be coming off of an injury. I think that he has a lot of things to prove in this year, and he also has a lot of offensive weapons. So Looking at those division odds, or excuse me, just the betting odds, excuse me. He's the long shot of the top 6, but that's who I'm picking. I've got Lamar Jackson. Who are you looking at for Offensive Player of the Year?
Surprisingly, same thing. I have Lamar Jackson. I think Baltimore wins the division this year, and I think Lamar's a huge part of it. Lamar plus 2,200. That is one of my favorite bets, actually.
Very good. Very good. Well, let's jump into Defensive Player of the Year. So, rounding out top 6 here, we've got Micah Parsons sitting at plus 450. We have Myles Garrett sitting at plus 600. TJ Watt with the Pittsburgh Steelers sitting at plus 800. What? We got Nick Bosa sitting at plus 1,200. Your boy Aaron Donald sitting at plus 2,000. And then we've got Ahmad Sauce Gardner sitting at plus 2,000. What's your pick here? Lost it. All right. If this episode seems a little bit choppy, it's because we are having some technical difficulties on our end. So there's a couple situations where Workman may be bouncing in and out. We'll bring him back in as soon as he can come in. Again, we're covering Defensive Player of the Year right now, just in case we had some issues with audio. We've got Micah Parsons sitting at plus 450, Myles Garrett sitting at plus 600, TJ Watt sitting at plus 800. Nick Bosa sitting at plus 1,200, and then we've got Aaron Donald and Ahmad Sauce Gardner, rounding it out at plus 2,000. I'm gonna go with my boy here, Micah Parsons. Man, he's the easy choice in this selection. But the guy keeps continuing to improve his skill set. They're talking about playing him at potentially 8 to 9 different positions in Dan Quinn's defense this year. He's a beast, man. He's built like a freight train. He's just as fast as some of the running backs in the league. He's got a motor on him that's ridiculous. He's been fired up all preseason. He's gotten in multiple skirmishes with the offense, talking shit to Dak Prescott. Like, he is ready to go, and he is got his sights set on doing some big things this year. So I'm going to go with Micah Parsons. Who do you got, Workman?
So my pick is from the Kansas City Chiefs. He is currently holding out. Please hold out until week 2. Chris Jones plus 2,500. He's one of the best defensive players in the NFL. I hope to God he misses that game next Thursday. But he's an absolute force. Best defensive player on the Chiefs, probably behind Mahomes and Kelsey, third best player on the Chiefs. Keep holding out till week 2, then come back and win Defensive Player of the Year.
You know, I think this is interesting because if I remember correctly, you got some shit from Ike for not including Chris Jones as part of your top 5 defensive players in the league. So I think you may be trying to make it up for it a little bit here, but we'll see what Ike says.
I am. This is so he sends me a Pizza King take and bake in the mail.
Damn,
so
if that's what we're gonna do, then I'm picking Chris Jones. I'm pulling my pick back. Anything for a take and bake.
I think he might withhold the pizza though if I want him to hold out week 1.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, let's move into rookies. So taking a look at the Offensive Rookie of the Year, guys, the top 6, we've got Bijan Robinson sitting at plus 300, Bryce Young sitting at plus 400, Anthony Richardson sitting at plus 800, which I think is a little surprising because he is currently sitting above CJ Stroud, who's sitting at plus 1,000. We also have Jahmyr Gibbs sitting at plus 900. And then rounding out the top 6 here, we've got Jordan Addison sitting at plus 1,600. Workman, who do you have here?
So I'm going with, if the Lions are going to have success, I think a lot of it's going to be because of Jahmyr Gibbs. I love him at plus 900. He's going to come in. He's going to run the ball. He's going to be a receiver. He's going to be a threat all over the place. With Jameson Williams being out the first 6 games, I love the idea of Jahmyr Gibbs getting it started early. He is my pick for Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Very good. I thought about picking Jahmyr Gibbs. I went ahead and went with Bijan Robinson, and the reason for that is because of the offense that they're in. Desmond Ritter's running quarterback. It's a run-heavy offense in the first place. Bijan Robinson has a lot of hype around him, but I think the hype is real. I think that he is going to be one of those running backs that could be a long-term guy like an Adrian Peterson in the league. He's got the ability to both run and catch, and they don't have a ton of weapons on that offense. So I think Bijan Robinson is going to be involved in a lot of different ways. Honestly, I'm picking him for Offensive Rookie of the Year, but I think Bijan Robinson could be a sneaky fantasy play for a top 10 player of the year at the end of the year, depending on if he stays healthy. So we'll see what happens there. But that's my pick for offensive rookie of the year is Bijan Robinson. So rounding out our season awards here, we've got defensive rookie of the year. Sitting on that top spot is Will Anderson at plus 500. We have Jalen Carter at plus 550. Tyree Wilson sitting at plus 1100. Devin Witherspoon sitting at plus 1100. Jack Campbell sitting at plus 1600. And then Christian Gonzalez sitting at plus 1600. Who do you've got here?
I actually have my steal of the draft, Jalen Carter. He's an absolute force. I can't believe he fell to this team like we talked about before on one of the podcasts. There's no reason he should have still been there. I think Jalen Carter, and I'm not sure it's close.
Yeah, I went back and forth between Jalen Carter and Will Anderson. I picked Will Anderson in this situation primarily because I think Will Anderson's going to be on the field a lot more than Jalen Carter's going to be on the field. So I think he's going to have an opportunity to collect some sacks and just, kind of be a dominating force on that Houston defense, playing with D'Amico Ryan's defense, excuse me. So I think he has a real opportunity there to win Defensive Player of the Year, or Defensive Rookie of the Year, I should say. But it would not surprise me at all if Jalen Carter ends up getting that. I'm still kind of dumbfounded that he landed where he landed.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that Philly defense was already difficult enough, and now they've added all those extra pieces. So yeah, all right. So let's keep the ball rolling here and get into the meat of this. So we've gone through and picked our AFC and NFC playoff teams. We've got them organized by ranking. So we're going to start off with the AFC, and I'll let Workman go first here.
My 1 seed is the Chiefs. Think it's obvious. They continue the run. They're my 1 seed.
Yep. I'm in the exact same spot with you. Kind of hard to go against that. There's a lot more heavy hitters, I think, in the AFC this year that could potentially throw a wrench into that thing, into Kansas City being the 1 spot. But, fortunately for them, they're not in the AFC East, so I've got them as the number 1 seed.
I think we're probably gonna have a difference here. My 2 seed is Baltimore. Like I just said, I like Lamar for MVP. I like Baltimore to win the division. I think they're gonna be quietly a very, very good team this year.
Yeah, I'm not with you on them being a 2 seed. I do have Baltimore in the playoffs. I've got them sitting in as a wild card. I've got Cincinnati sitting here at the 2 spot. I do think that they're going to win the division. They short up that offensive line a little bit. It's still the Cincinnati Bengals. They're going to put points up. I think that they've got a little bit of a challenge there with Baltimore this year, but I do have Cincinnati sitting at the 2.
3, I've got the Jets winning the East.
Yep. So we talked about this a little bit in the last episode. This is going to be one of my potential sneak picks. We'll see how it all plays out, but I've got Miami sitting here at 3. That's going to be a really, really difficult division to run through. I think it could very easily be the Jets, Buffalo, or Miami. But if Miami stays healthy, if Tua stays on the field, I think that they take another step in the right direction and win the division. So I've got Miami sitting at 3. All right, it looks like we might have
Test.
Yep, he's back.
Wow, I can't believe that worked.
Yeah, we'll see how long it lasts. But
yeah, no kidding. Winning the AFC South, give me Jacksonville as the 4 seed.
Yep, right there with you. If Jacksonville winning the AFC South should be the lock of the century this year. So yeah, I've got them sitting at the 4 spot.
So going along with you, I do have Cincinnati making the playoffs. I just have them flipped. I do have them as the 5 seed in the wild card. Baltimore winning the division as the 2 seed.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, my 5 seed right now is Buffalo. So I think Buffalo is going to be in that. I've got 3 teams in the AFC East, so I do have the Jets sitting as the 6th spot. And your audio's out again. So let me run through this while he resets. We've got my picks right now. I've got Kansas City at the 1 seed. I've got Cincinnati at the 2. Workman's got Baltimore there. I have Miami sitting in the 3 spot. I have Jacksonville sitting at the 4 spot, and then rounding out my wild card picks, I've got Buffalo sitting at the 5. I have the New York Jets sitting at the 6, and then I've got Baltimore sitting at the 7 spot. Workman, you want to do just a quick run through here on your AFC picks, just in totality, since I think we've got some overlap.
All right, so I had Chiefs at 1, Baltimore at 2, Jets at 3, Jacksonville at 4. Those are all my division winners. 5, Cincinnati. 6, I have Pittsburgh. I really love this AFC North this year. I think they are all very good. And a big surprise at 7, I've got the Bills out of the playoffs. Give me the Dolphins in the 7 spot. I said last week I think the Bills regress a little bit this year. Missed the playoffs.
All right, that is going to be that might be potentially the pick of the year if that ends up happening. Being Buffalo out of the playoffs. I'll be surprised if that happens. All right, let's move into NFC. So, yep, you're here. You blanked out. You'll probably drop off again. We'll just keep it rolling here. So, we'll go through the NFC stuff here. 1 seed. As much as it hurts me being a Cowboys fan, it's pretty obvious here. Philadelphia Eagles are the team to beat in the NFC. That's who I've got as my 1.
Yep, same. Philly, Jalen Hurts, and Jalen.
And it looks like Workman lost it again and might be back here. You back? Nope, audio's messed up. So we'll keep it rolling here while Workman resets for the 19th time. I've got Philly sitting in the 1 spot. We can just do a quick rundown here. Obviously, we're having some technical issues. Unfortunately, this has been an ongoing thing tonight, and you guys will probably get a little bit of a glimpse of that in the college edition if you guys are listening to both of our shows, which I hope you are. NFC division winners. So I have the Philadelphia Eagles sitting in the 1 spot. I don't think it's close. Unfortunately, as a Cowboys fan, I would love to see Dallas in this position, but barring a miracle and some major injuries happening for Philly, I don't see them not being in the 1 seed. So, Workman, you want to touch base on this? I'm assuming that you're echoing my opinion here.
Yeah, Philly's Jesus. I don't know what you said, but I'm sure it was something close to that. Number 1 seed.
Okay, fair enough. All right, 2 seed. I've got the San Francisco 49ers.
Yep, same thing. Okay. Too tough of a defense. I think they're still a very good team. And the NFC gets a little interesting after this.
Yeah, big question mark there, I think, potentially a quarterback, but obviously they're a little bit more comfortable than what I think they should be. They just got rid of Trey Lance. Cowboys took him for a 4th rounder. A little interesting. I don't know if that's Jerry's way of trying to put a little pressure on Dak. I think the jury is obviously still out on Trey Lance. But yeah, they're the 2 seed in my opinion. I don't think it's close. Moving into the 3 spot, I have got the Detroit Lions.
Eat 'em up.
I got the Detroit Lions sitting here at the 3 spot. I think they take a step forward this year. I think that things are looking really good. They got a little bit younger. They got a little bit tougher. Dan Campbell's just continuing to implement that program that he's got and his ability to motivate his players. So yeah, I've got Detroit sitting here at the 3, making the playoffs and being a division winner.
A home playoff game at Ford Field for the first time ever. I absolutely cannot wait for this to happen.
Yeah, and for those of you guys who do know us or don't know us, Workman and I have been to a bunch of Lions games growing up, and we have unfortunately suffered through a lot of it, including some very sketchy walks to and from the stadium. But yeah, it'll be awesome if Detroit has as good of a season as what we're thinking here. So we both got them at 3. So 4 spot, I have the New Orleans Saints coming out of the NFC South. That's going to be an interesting division. I think it's going to be a little closer than what a lot of people think. We've got a rookie quarterback there in Carolina that if he plays well, could potentially give New Orleans a run, but New Orleans gets what I would consider an upgrade in Carr now at quarterback. If they can stay healthy, they've got a solid defense there. I've got them winning the NFC South.
Exact same thing. Continue on with the Saints. And like I said, I will root for, again, Derek Carr to be unsuccessful and Jameis to be the one to lead this team.
Fair enough. All right, let's jump into some wild card action then. So to probably nobody's surprise, I have the Dallas Cowboys as my first wild card pick. I think that they are going to have a better season than what Workman thinks. I think that they've done a really good job of upgrading a couple pieces, bringing in Stephon Gilmore to shore up the other side of the defensive back position there. We've got Brandon Cooks has come in as well. I don't think this is going to be the year that they win the division because they do have a tough schedule, but I do see them performing well, and I do see them being the 5 seed in the wild card.
Yeah, surprisingly in my picks, I think I said last week I got them to 9 wins. I think their over-under is 9.5. I think I got them to 9, but they are my 5. I do have Dallas as the 5, same as you.
All right. Moving into the 6th spot here, I have the Seattle Seahawks. Thought about this a little bit. I think Geno Smith is going to continue proving that he's a better quarterback than what he's shown in previous years. I think that if they can get healthy with Jackson being on that team, that's going to be a deadly offense with Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and then Smith and Jigba. Once he gets healthy, that's a hell of a trio to be able to throw the ball to. There are some question marks around there on the running back position, and I think their defense is getting a little older. They've lost a couple guys. But yeah, I've got the Seattle Seahawks sitting here at the 6th spot.
So as you can probably expect, here's a little bit of a difference for us. I think this might be our first difference of the whole NFC. I went with another NFC West team. I went the Rams. I like their schedule. I think it's a little favorable. They are very, 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 very young. So time's going to tell with this team. I think their schedule's just favorable enough that they can sneak in and get this 6th seed. And just to throw in a little note here with my rankings, that would put Matthew Stafford taking the Rams to Ford Field in the first round of the NFL playoffs. Could you imagine that situation? That would be insane.
Oh man, yeah, we may have to go to that.
Yeah,
we may have to get tickets to that if that happens. Yeah, that'll be I don't have the Rams making the playoffs this year because they're so young. I think that it might take a year or two for them to get things shored up, which is unfortunate for Matthew Stafford because he is on the backside of his career. But I do not have them making the playoffs. My 7th seed is a little bit of a flip from what we discussed last episode. I thought about that NFC North position a little bit, and last week I think I talked a little bit about how I can see the Minnesota Vikings sliding a little bit. I thought about this in a little bit more detail and did some more research. I can see them sliding into the 7th spot here. The NFC is, I think, very competitive in those first 4 or 5 spots, but these last 2 I think are just complete crapshoot wild cards. I don't know who's going to be in the 6th or 7th spot. I picked Seattle because they've been there and they showed some signs of life last year. I really struggled picking the 7th position, but it's kind of hard to go against Justin Jefferson and what that offense can do, despite losing a couple key players and Dalvin Cook and Thielen's gone and a couple things like that. But I've got Minnesota sitting here at the 7.
So yeah, we pretty much had the same discussion last week. You probably know who I'm picking here. I'm taking the Packers again. Yeah. I just think they're better than Minnesota, but it's so up in the air. I think it's going to be very close. I think Packers have a good defense. I think Minnesota's defense sucks, and I think that is just the difference. But either one of those teams, it would not surprise me in that spot.
Yeah, so that's kind of the same play that I've got is like trying to pick which NFC North team is going to end up making it. I think you and I were of a differing opinion last week that you have the Packers a little higher. I've got the Bears a little higher. So I don't see the Bears making the playoffs, but I don't know. It was tough picking these last 2 positions, especially the 7th spot for the NFC. I think it's going to be way up in the air. I don't foresee the Commanders making out of it. I thought about the Giants because the Giants looks like they've added a couple additional pieces. But yeah, overall, we'll see. Just as a quick rundown here again, Workman and I are aligned completely on our top teams. We've got Philly at 1, San Francisco at 2, Detroit at 3, New Orleans at 4. And then I round off my wild card with Dallas at 5, Seattle at 6, and Minnesota at 7. Workman has Dallas at 5, and then he's got the Rams sitting at 6 and Green Bay sitting at 7. So those are our playoff picks for both AFC and NFC. We are going to wrap the show up here picking out our Super Bowl picks. So let's take a look at that, and Workman, I'll hand it off to you.
Go on the NFL Plus app and turn on last year's Super Bowl. And here we are again. We got the Chiefs and Eagles again. Kelsey Bowl Part 2. Same result. Give me the Chiefs. I still love this team. It's absolutely amazing what they're doing in this era. I know people talked about what New England did. What the Chiefs are doing is absolutely incredible. There is not a more entertaining team to watch in college football and NFL football and high school football anywhere on earth. They're the most exciting team to watch. every week. It's some crazy ass shit. They did a fucking spinning merry-go-round huddle and threw it out for an almost touchdown last year. Like, they don't care. They come out and they toy with you and they say, we're so much better than you. This is what we're going to do. And you can't stop it. And I absolutely love it. Chris Jones, like I said before, the holdout is big. That is a huge deal. I don't know if it's going to keep lasting all season. There some talk. He posted something that he was done with football. So you never know what he's actually thinking. And if he is done and they do not have him, that is a huge loss. I will say that's not just nothing to just throw out. But if he's back easily, I love the Chiefs to win it.
Yeah, I wish I could give you guys a little bit more variety, but I have the exact same thing. Unfortunately, it is a repeat of KC versus Philly and Kansas City winning it again. I think both of these teams potentially have gotten better since last year. Philly is interesting in the fact that they have shored up their defense, and I think that they have a couple rookie guys that can really make an impact. But again, to your point, KC does what they do. They've been doing it for a few years, and they do it, mostly without big names. Like, they had Tyreek Hill, but even when Tyreek left, everybody thought they were going to drop down, but their offense scores points outside of just Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce. And, you make the point about Chris Jones potentially holding out for an extended period of time, but this team has shown that, like, we'll give up 35 points, but we're going to score 48. So it's not going to matter, and that's the same. It's that Andy Reid style offense, man. They don't play a game where they just don't throw points up on the board. There's going to be a couple games this year where they'll probably stumble a little bit, which is the same thing that happens every year. And I don't know if it's just because they get a little bored or if they come in under expecting what a team's going to do and then it catches them off guard. But when it comes playoff time, man, they turn it on and they are tight. They're ready to go. And I don't see this being any different than last year, which is unfortunate because I love seeing variety in the NFL, especially. But yeah, I've got KC versus Philly and KC winning it again. So, that's what we've got this week. It's a little bit of a short show compared to what we typically do here, but all that said, apologies for the tech issues that we're having here. Hopefully we'll be able to clean that up a little bit before we publish. We are continuing to publish on YouTube. We are working on getting things published onto Spotify and Apple and a couple other locations. So be on the lookout for that. We'll announce that on socials. Speaking of socials, if you want to follow us on virtually any social that's out there except for maybe TikTok, and that's something that we're actually taking a look at right now, you can find us at Tues Night TD Pod. That is TUESNIGHT TDPOD. You can find us on X, which is Twitter. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram, all that fun stuff. And if you guys want to send a shout out to either one of us individually, you can hit me on X or Twitter at ZReeseDowning. That's DOWNING. Workman, what's your X?
At Jacob Workman.
At Jacob Workman. Pretty simple, guys. Don't need to know too much about us in order to find us here. So this is our last episode before we pick week one, which is awesome, right? So
we will be 2 days away from the Lions-Chiefs game when we're here next.
Yes, that's right.
Fucking awesome.
We are pumped and ready to go. Again, just to repeat one more time, we do have a college edition of this show that we release every week. We just went through a very detailed breakdown on all the top 25 teams, plus our Muncie six-pack, which is 6 teams plus Ball State. So Workman and I gave you guys our picks for all of those against the spreads. So be sure to check out the NCAA podcast for us. And yeah, we look forward to coming back this week, next week, hopefully with 0 technical issues. We may be looking into a different platform, talking to you, Riverside, get your shit together. And yeah, do you have anything else that you want to add before we sign off here?
No, that's it. Just enjoy. We got, 5 days of football this weekend for college football. Then we're going to come back next time you see us 2 days away from the NFL kickoff. It's a great time of the year, and it's a very exciting time. Great time to be a Lions fan. For once in my life, I can say that.
we'll see how the season plays out. But yeah, we're looking forward to it. This is our last episode of not being fully into it on both sides of the ball here for both college and pro football. So as always, we appreciate you guys tuning in here. Please like, share, subscribe on anything that you see here. We will announce when we've got everything uploaded on our platforms, including Spotify. Right now, you can check us out on YouTube. For Jacob Workman, this is Reese Downing with the TNT Podcast NFL Edition signing off. We appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Cheers.
See you, everyone.